Welcome to the NASA Soup training video on website tools. This video will go through some of the major functionalities and information that is provided on the Soup website. Please note there is much more detail than we will be able to get to in this video. First, we'll review the Fast Access menu. These are links we feel are important for everybody to know about. The Soup login link will take you to either the login or the Create a Soup account page. If you have not yet created an account, this is where you will enter your information. If you have an account, you would log in here. Everything we are showing you now is public information that does not require a login. This is where you'll find the most commonly asked questions. These are some of the most viewed articles, including answers for industry on how to become a prime contract holder and answers for customers about Soup prices. Soup does not answer FAQs with a yes and no. Our answers have full detail, including links back to the contract, so you can utilize the responses and use our FAQs to document how you're utilizing Soup. If you ever have questions, you can email help@soup.nasa.gov for more information. Next, under Fast Access, we'll go to training videos. We have long and short videos on various topics. Throughout the website, there are short videos to help you learn about certain key functions. Next, we'll go to the contract info page. Here, we list some key information about Soup, including the effective date beginning May 1st and running through April 30th. Soup is a 5-year contract vehicle with a 5-year option, which began on May 1st, 2015 and runs through April 30th, 2025. This page also shows the ceiling limit. If your order is under $18.3 billion, you will not exceed any of our contract limit. We also list the contract clauses. This is a PDF that lists all the contract clauses in the current contract. During the exercising of the options in 2020, we updated all of the clauses. If you have a clause that you know is more recent or has been updated, you can include clauses at the delivery order level and utilize the clause list. This is simply just a listing, but you may want to actually see which clauses are in contract or the provisions that are included in the clause. To do so, you can go to the contract holders list. There are 2 basic contracts. You can go to that list and from there select a small business and select other than small business. Once you've seen a contract from one of those size companies, it will be the same for all similarly sized companies. Note, all Soup contracts have been updated to include 889 regulations. So, for example, if we want to look at other than small, we can go to CDW-G's contract by clicking on CDW-G. They have 2 contracts, one at Group A and one at Group D. Again, both contracts will be the same in this case because they're a large company. In either case, if you download the PDF, you will see the full suite of clauses and provisions. The PDF contains the entire contract, and you can review that contract, and if a clause is not there, or if you have an update that isn't in that contract, again, you can add that at the delivery order level. Also on this page, we list all the DUNS, TIN, and CAGE codes that you might need, the base code, and the business size designation. We also provide you with at least 2 points of contact and the company address to use on your order. Anytime a company appears on our website, there's a link back to this page for that company, so you can easily obtain this information at any point in time. While talking about contract holders, let's switch over to that menu. There are several different ways of looking at the contract list, but we also have a link to the program performance page. Soup does a continuous performance rating of our contracts. Note that this is not a past performance and should not be utilized as a past performance determination. It is how these companies are performing today based on the past few months of activity. The first 4 columns are qualitative in nature. The first one is for reports. It is internal tracking and performance based on how well they provide required reports to the program office. The next 3 are more external facing. Any issues with customer satisfaction are typically obtained from emails or phone calls from customers to our help desk. Information distribution is a determination. If any of our contract holders are not providing accurate information in their posts or other details or on the website about Soup, that will be a distribution strike or a downgrade. Finally is contract adherence. This measures how a company is working in terms of the processes and provisions of the contract itself. For the most part, a company is going to be excellent, and our goal is to ensure they are working at excellent level. However, if they do have an issue, we may give them strikes or downgrades, which will show up here. These are primarily used to incentivize companies to work correctly within the contract and within the program framework to return back to excellence. There is a 3-month period where, if they can prove they have fixed an issue, we will move them up to the next level. There are some situations where a company will come out as poor. If this happens, we will indicate to you when you obtain a quote that the company has a poor rating, and you may want to contact us before issuing an order to learn why they received that poor rating. That does not happen very often, and is typically related to a major issue that will likely prevent the company from providing quotes at the time. We do notify you, but if you'd like to do a quick review of how a company is performing, that is when you will visit this page. The last column is actually a quantitative statement. It is a determination of how well these companies are meeting their stated quote time. It's not how fast they deliver. It is, are they meeting what they quote to you, the customer? If they quote 6 months and it takes 6 months, that is fine. If they quote 6 months and it takes 9 months, that is not acceptable. They are expected to meet the time period they quoted to you. If they do so for all of their quotes, they'll be excellent. If they occasionally have issues, they may be very good. If they have regular issues, they may have lower ratings. The neutrals indicate companies that have not done more than 5 orders in the past 6 months. We can't do a quantitative rating without sufficient data. So neutral just means we don't have enough data to give you a fair statement on how they are meeting quoted delivery times. Like the other indicators, if a company is in poor status, we will notify you when you get a quote from them, but you can use this page to check the ratings of any company. Now, let's shift back to the home page and fast access menu, going back to where we were with the contract info. The next link we want to look at very quickly is the credit card micro purchase page. Soup operates in accordance with FAR Part 16 if an order is over the micro purchase limit. However, if it is not over the micro purchase limit, you do not have to provide fair opportunity. You can go directly to a Soup company or any set of companies from which you wish to obtain quotes. On this page, Soup lists companies who are more than happy to work with you on obtaining quotes under the micro purchase limit. Several of them have websites you can visit to review their Soup offerings and create an order directly with that company. If you do so, that company will provide that order to the Soup program office for verification. They will then fulfill the order after we confirm the order is correct. Anyone visiting the Soup website can utilize the provider lookup tool. From here, you can look up the 6,700 plus companies that have a product or service on at least one contract. We add new companies to the contract every day, so this tool is always updating. If a company does not show up when you search, you can simply ask for them to be added. It does not mean they aren't available. We will start by searching a company like Cisco. The search shows there are 133 contract holders that have Cisco products and over 1 million Cisco CLINs on the SOUP contract. This includes the associated names or all the names that Cisco is currently known by in our system. These are often the names of companies that are owned by that provider. From here, you can click on the Cisco Systems link, which will take you to the list of over 140 companies that have a product or service currently on SOUP. Remember, SOUP is a dynamic catalog. It changes every day. If a company does not show up as authorized, that does not mean they are not available. It just means they are not currently authorized. Your verification file will tell you whether or not that company is truly authorized for what you're requesting. This page is a snapshot of fully authorized resellers and other companies providing Cisco products and services on SOUP at the moment you view it. The other public page we're going to quickly show is the FedRAMP page. There are actually two versions. The FedRAMP page is a succinct listing of available information. The larger GSA FedRAMP page provides full details. Our FedRAMP page is an up-to-date listing of products and providers that have FedRAMP authorization. It also shows the agencies that have the authorization. For government customers, this page shows companies that have those products on their SOUP contract. If they are on this page, they are in scope for SOUP. Even if they are not currently on SOUP, any product that is FedRAMP compliant can be added to and provided through the SOUP contracts. At this point, we are going to review tools that require a login. These are tools that would be utilized by government customers through their account. Let's start with the market research tool. As you can see, you must log in to access this tool. This is a newer version of the provider lookup tool. It provides more details, allows you to search part numbers, and lets you ask for products and companies you do not find. We'll start by finding a provider, Cisco. Note that on this page, we actually show the company's headquarters, which may or may not be where you expect. This is the actual headquarters of that company. We can click on that company and add them to our tracking, and they show up here. Let's try another provider, Disney. Disney is not currently on SOUP, but maybe there is something they provide that you feel is in the scope of SOUP and you want to have them added to our contract. How will you do that? Indicate that you do not see them and add them to your tracking. We will track them as a company you did not find. You can move forward now and say OK. Now, I want to find a product. I know that there is a part number from Cisco. Note that we will allow you to do description searches. But if you try to use that with a company like Cisco, you will be overwhelmed with responses, so it's unlikely to be useful. If you have a specific part number, searching that will find that product. There is that part number, which is available. This doesn't tell you that it is only available on certain contracts. It tells you that it has been requested prior to this time by somebody else and has been added to SOUP. In this case, we found it and can add that product. Now, let's search for another product with Cisco. This time, we're going to search for a part number which is not likely to be found. So we're going to try to find that product, and sure enough, we do not find that part number. In this case, we will request a new product to be added. You can add a description so companies will know what you are actually looking for, not just the part number. Or you can remove the part number and enter new descriptions. In either case, we'll add that product, and now we have a list of Cisco providers for a product you were not previously able to find. From here, you can create a request for information, or RFI. Click on Create as RFI. Soup will take the information you have gathered, those products and companies you found, and those that you did not find, and through the quote request tool, you now request more information from our contract holders on whether they can provide those products and services, as well as other information that you may want concerning this request. Note that in the QRT, we default to request information. We are assuming that since you're coming from the market research tool, you have not yet made a decision to do a request for quote or RFQ, but want to obtain information as part of your research. You can change that as needed. Scrolling down to the requirements documentation, we attach a file that is the summary of information you searched on, including who you found and who you want to add. As you can see in this request, you want to add Disney and a certain part from Cisco. You can add more information in this file or leave it as is. As a summary, what is the information that you want to obtain as part of your market research, including what you did and did not find in the contract to this point? You'll submit that through our system, and the contract holders will respond with the requested information, adding those products that they provide if they are available and if they are in scope. The combination that you should use when using the market research tool is searching. Searching, finding, not finding, tracking, then creating and adding information to obtain final determination as to what will and will not be available on the SOUP contracts. Because SOUP is dynamic and because we add products based on your requirements, we cannot show you a static view of the entire catalog. It changes every day based on requirements. Instead, use this tool to ask what can be added. If you need pricing, you can ask for pricing at that time and it will be added and priced within our contract and responded based on your requests. You aren't required to utilize the market research tool. The easiest way to use SOUP is to go directly to the quote request tool or QRT and send your requirements to the contract holders. To do so, you will go to the quote request tool and create a new request. First, you will add a description field to tell the contract holders why they want to open your request. There are hundreds of RFQs sent out weekly, and if you do not provide a detailed description, the contract holders may miss what you need. So be sure to use this 200-character field to give them a sense of your requirements. Under the request type, by default, we start with an RFQ. You can change this to one of the other types of requests depending on your needs. There are 3 basic types of requests within SOUP. Your request for information is when you are only looking for information, and whether or not the items are currently on contract or what the actual price is doesn't matter. Maybe you just want to get an estimate of what the cost might be or obtain technical information to see if your needs will match what is available and on the SOUP contracts. This is important. SOUP does not verify information provided through the RFI process. When you are ready to actually do an order or perhaps doing a credit card order, you might want to do a market research request. In that case, we will verify that the products are on contract and the pricing provided back is correct. Finally, the request for quote is typically used when you are ready to place an order. A request for quote is verified to confirm all products are in contract and priced correctly. You may notice a 4th category, request for agency catalog. We recommend anyone interested in requesting an agency catalog contact us at our help desk first. You can email help@soup.nasa.gov. Make your selection as to the type of request, and then you can determine your fair opportunity, which are the companies that are going to have an opportunity to apply to your request. If you have an exception and can use sole source, you would click this and select one or more contract holders for your requirement. If you are not sure, please review the sole source exceptions. Select sole source exceptions for either of the NACE codes. CFAR 16.505B2. Exceptions to the fair opportunity process. You'll need to decide whether you'll go to the Group A set of contracts, which includes 35 companies in the business sizes indicated there. There are 131 companies in Groups B, C, D. You can go to all of the companies of Groups B, C, D, or you can decide that you have a need that can be fulfilled by the 29 women-owned small business contract holders on SOUP. Note below that as you click on the type of company, SOUP then checks off those companies that meet your needs in terms of these set-asides. You can choose to go to another company. If you select, for example, Alba Technologies, which is not a woman-owned small business, your set-aside filters will be reset and all companies will be checked. Once you have selected somebody outside of your set-aside, the filters will be reset and all companies will be checked because you are now doing a full open request. If you go back and reselect women-owned, it will revert to only those businesses checked. Our tool will provide you with the options that meet FAR Part 16. We're going to go ahead and utilize the woman-owned small businesses by scrolling down, and now we have the requirements documentation in here. You will attach whatever files you need with statements of work, build materials, terms and conditions, and any details you want. You may provide as many files as needed to ensure the companies understand your needs. In the summary field, provide a basic summary of your needs, if there's a brand name requirement or other details that you want. This will help summarize what is in your attachments and what's going on, including all other special requirements for your purchase, such as if it needs to be delivered by a certain date. You can type in the required delivery date with text stating that it must be delivered by that date. The QRT provides options for verifiable and non-verifiable options you can apply, such as allowing partial quotes, allowing quotes with partial delivery, and allowing multiple quotes for alternative solutions, or indicating that used or refurbished products are acceptable. The options under verifiable will be confirmed by SOUP before returning a quote. The options that are non-verifiable will not be confirmed. This is also where you will indicate any 508 compliance requirement. Select the Accessibility Conformance Report checkbox. When you obtain your quotes back from the companies, they should attach a filled-in template indicating how their products meet those 508 compliance requirements. You may also indicate your requirement for an authorized or approved reseller. Please note that SOUP defines an authorized reseller as a reseller who is known by the OEM, and the OEM has verified that a government purchase from that reseller is considered to be legitimate and authorized. If this is a requirement, the selected quotes will be verified that the items are from authorized or approved resellers. Also available for selection is SOUP's Established Authorized Reseller Program, or EARP, that if selected, requires that contract holders have an EARP relationship with the provider and must source the items directly from the provider. We have made it easier for you to select your desired level of EPEAT and TAA requirements. For EPEAT, contract holders will only include choices at your selected level of bronze, silver, or gold. If you have chosen a brand name provider, you have the option to include the name of the provider for any brand name requirement. Finally, there is an additional contact section that will allow you to share your RFQ and quotes with others in your organization. Enter their first and last name and email address. For best results, be sure to use the email they use when registering with Soup. If they have not yet registered, they'll be asked to register, and then they'll have access. You can add and delete as many contacts as you want at any time, even after the RFQ is closed. Soup also has a question and answer feature. This allows companies to ask questions through the Soup toolset, and you, the customer, can respond to common questions in a single location for all contract holders. However, this section allows you to turn that feature off or change the cutoff for questions. By default, questions and answers are allowed through the time period that the RFQ is open. We set RFQs to be open for 5 business days by default. You can change that to be as few as 1 business day up to as many as necessary to maximize your potentially successful quotes. Now that everything has been entered, select Save and Continue to confirmation. At this point, Soup provides a summary of your selections before you confirm and submit the RFQ. You must click Confirm and Submit to officially complete your RFQ. Note that for 92% of RFQs, we obtain a response the first time an article is submitted. For the 8% do not respond, the most common reason is that more time is needed. The second most common reason is that not enough information was provided in terms of technical specifications. If you do not get any responses back, you can do more research or contact us at help@soup.nasa.gov, and we can assist you in determining why you did not see responses and the changes necessary to obtain responses. On average, each RFQ receives about 4 quotes. That concludes our look at the QRT. Now, we'll look at what happens and what options you have after a request is submitted. By default, we will always show you the open quote requests and any quote requests that closed in the last 30 days. You can view all of your RFQs or search for a specific one if need be. In this case, we're going to view all of them, and we are going to look at the options that are available to you. You can change who has access. You may modify or amend an RFQ or a market research request, and Soup will ensure all contract holders on the solicitation will be notified of the change. You can also extend the window to receive quotes. When you choose that option, you will be shown a calendar where you can pick a new end date. Again, we will notify all companies that your RFQ has been reopened or extended. If you're not going to produce an order off of a requirement, clicking on Cancel will notify all companies that you are not going to do an award. Under FAR Part 16, for any order under $6 million, you are not required to do an award notification. But if you wish to do one, we provide a tool that lets you easily notify the companies that an award decision has been made, and you can provide as much detail as you prefer. Finally, we have the question and answer feature. You will be notified if a question is submitted. You can come to the Q&A function to see all the questions submitted and provide your responses. If there is information you do not want to have all the other companies see, you can change a question so your answer can be viewed by those on the solicitation. You will then be able to approve and post your answers once so that all the companies that you have selected for that request will have access to the question and answer without any identification. You do not tell them who submitted the question, and we only show them the redacted question that you edited and the answer you provided. There is much more functionality included in this feature. You can watch the dedicated video or contact our help desk to learn more. Note that when you are done with your quoting process, you can download all the questions and answers as an Excel spreadsheet. Now, we will look at viewing submitted quotes and the search functionality. You will be notified as each quote comes in and how many have been submitted. You can view them here on the quote page, which has several key features. The verification options box displays your chosen option from the RFQ as a reminder of what the quotes are responding to. Your quotes are shown in 3 tabs. The first tab, Meet All Verified Options, includes only quotes from the contract holder who have satisfied all your requested verification options. The second tab, Does Not Meet All Verified Options, includes quotes from contract holders who have satisfied some, but not all of your requested verification options. The missing options will be shown for each quote in a verification note, and the verification file is available for your review. Finally, the View All tab shows all contract holders in 2 categories, those who have responded and those who have not. You can expand and collapse these sections using the buttons shown. Those who have not responded can provide a status update, letting you know if they plan to provide a quote, if they need more information to provide a quote, or if they are unable to provide a quote. You will also find links to any questions from contract holders and our Q&A tool. The Print All and Print All verification files will maintain any sorting you have applied to the tabs. Pricing is verified through our system. If it does not meet the quoted pricing that is submitted via the attachment for the quote, then it has not been correctly verified. You should confirm it does match to ensure it has been correctly verified. The verification itself includes the verification file. In the verification file, we list all the claims that were submitted on the quote in the description, the manufacturer part number, who the original manufacturer is, or service provider. You will not receive a quote that includes anything that is not on contract. We show you the catalog price, the SOUP contract price you were quoted, and what you saved off the catalog price. You will never see a quote with any price higher than the catalog price. We then show you the TA compliance flag, which tells you whether or not the items are Trade Agreement Act compliant and whether or not they meet EPEAT compliance, or EP. Finally, we will show you the relationship that we have verified with the manufacturer. The options are that they are the manufacturer themselves, in which case you will see an M. If the provider is an authorized reseller, you will see an A. If there are no relationships, that will be indicated by an N. If it states no relationship, that means there is no verified relationship between the reseller and the original manufacturer. This is the relationship that carries the highest risk. If your requirement included a requirement that the companies be approved or authorized, then you should only accept quotes in which there is an A for all of the line items in that column. Returning to the quote tool, you can also request an updated quote if your RFQ has closed. For example, these quotes closed in 2017, and you may want to determine whether or not they are still valid. So, we could ask for a verification and allow the company to provide a new quote based on the current time period that we're in. Another scenario is if you have a slight change in quantity. This small non-substantive change does not require you to open the RFQ, but you do want to update the quotes themselves. Maybe there's a clause or something you want or need to verify. So, you can do so, and the companies that you check will then have 24 hours to update their quotes, and from there, you can proceed. That completes a look at the RFQ, quote processes, and tools. Finally, let's take a look at our catalogs feature using the Government Strategic Solutions or GSS Catalog for demonstration purposes. All agencies can utilize the GSS Catalog for laptops and desktops. This catalog was created under the auspices of the Office of Management and Budget in conjunction with the other government-wide acquisition contracts or GWAC vehicles such as GSA and NIH with a specific set of specifications for notebooks and desktops. we requested information from all our contract holders on which products meet those specifications and created a suite of GSS catalogs that any government customer can use to obtain a notebook or a desktop. So, if your need, for example, is for a lightweight notebook, you will click on the GSS version for notebooks. In this case, we will show you those products that have met those specifications. You can view them by price and view their specs. You can also select which business size to purchase from. You can also compare multiple products to identify the best option. It is a very basic catalog functionality that resembles what you would see on a consumer website like Best Buy. Once you've identified the product you want to purchase, you can add that to the cart and complete your purchase. If you want to get more information, get options that aren't listed here, or otherwise interact with the companies in the agency catalog, there is a concept called the Catalog RFQ that allows you to submit an RFQ based on the catalog that only goes to catalog participants asking them to get you better pricing. Maybe you're doing an order of 5,000 of these notebooks, and the pricing here is for a single notebook. You would utilize the RFQ concept to submit an RFQ from this catalog to receive better pricing. In this catalog, you can either do a credit card purchase or you can download the ordering details. If you're doing a credit card purchase, just click on that link. You will then be asked for more information about who you are. That will be supplied to the contract holders, who will reach out to you for your credit card number and fulfill your order. Soup does not take any credit card information. Contract holders will always reach out to you directly to take your credit card info and complete your purchase. This is true for all credit card purchases, not just those made via catalogs. If you're doing orders where you will need a delivery order, you can download the ordering details to create your delivery order. That is the basic concept of a GSS catalog. Agency catalogs are essentially a snapshot that are created either government-wide in the case of the GSS catalog or for a specific organization or agency. For example, you may want to create a printer catalog for your agency. If this is your first time setting up an agency catalog, first, contact the SOUP office and our team of agency catalog experts will assist you with the policies and requirements that must be followed. If you are already familiar with utilizing our agency catalogs, this is where you would create a new request for one. Utilize the Quote Request tool to submit agency catalog requests and requirements to our contract holders, and they will provide information as to what options meet your needs. You would then come to us with the requirements, the specifications, and the products and pricing that meet your needs. Once that is done, we will create an agency catalog for you and your agency to purchase as much as you need. This concludes our SOUP Tools training video. In addition to this video, there is an additional video that features similar information in a slideshow presentation. You can find that and the rest of our videos on our training videos page under Fast Access, as we outlined at the beginning of the video. If you are interested in more customized training options, please contact us at help@soup.nasa.gov. You can also check our events page for upcoming webinars and other ways to learn more about SOUP. Thank you and have a super day.